I'll tell you, as a professional guide, as a hunter, as a botanist who goes out looking for plants and Indian ruins, this is the one mountain range I will not go into alone.
Mysterious disappearances.
Tom, you around?
When missing, they're lost, simply vanished.
Generally speaking, hunters are very experienced and knowledgeable outdoorsmen. And so when one vanishes, you know something unusual has occurred.
As a hunter, you're like, I'm fine, I'm armed, I'm safe. There's no reason for why these people go missing.
They never found anything. Not the walkie-talkie, not his gun, nothing.
Obviously, an animal didn't get to it because there'd be a big scatter. It'd be easy to find.
The FBI doesn't investigate missing adults. So then why would the FBI arrive on Tom Messick's case?
When you see hundreds of victims scattered throughout our national forests and national parks, you have to question the reality of it.
So he could have made fire. He had a gun, he could have signaled help. What happened to him?
I'd like to know, but I don't think we ever will.
Whatever it is big, and we started recording them.
Frequencies go way above and way below the abilities of humans.
I look, I'm thinking, what is this thing in the trees? It went from like tree to tree, and then it disappeared.
Is it possible for an 82-year-old man to simply vanish while sitting alone in the woods? Can a man with severe hypothermia hike 6 miles through snow with no shoes? This is one of those recurring phenomena. It's going to happen again. It's just a matter of time.
None of it makes any sense.
The global public is not ready to have global confirmation of this. A lot of disturbing things will occur. It's just too powerful.
Skinwalker Ranch. This is like the Area 51 of the paranormal.
It was not a single phenomenon. There were a host of things that happened.
Have there been experiences there that have shaken the Pentagon and CIA and other agencies? Absolutely.
Nobody knows what we're dealing with. That's the bottom line. Nobody knows.
This is 30 or 40 hours of material that the public has never seen before.
They saw this humanoid creature crawling through this tunnel, hovering 4 feet above the ground. Something forced 4 2,000-pound bulls to cram themselves into this trailer without opening this door. It's completely impossible.
I've seen things that I can't explain.
This was one of the most surprising things that we recorded right after I purchased the ranch.
Is it real?
Oh yes, I believe it is. Something is here.
These are real, tangible, physical events. This is game-changing.
It's one thing to be reading about UFOs or other realities or interdimensionals. It's another thing to be staring at it right in the face.
Oh, God.
Back in 1954, I'll give you a quick overview. There was the created 1954 treaty where Eisenhower signed a pact with the known alien species of the time. There were 3 at the time. And said that we're going to deal in high technology, but you can take a few head of cattle and a few human beings and you can experiment on them. It's unthinkable. It's stuff straight out of the Nazi death camps. And I'm kidding you not, it's plain BS, and it's got to stop. Now, the agreed in 1954 treaty had been violated. After the great firefight, the alien-human war, I am the only living survivor talking about it worldwide at all. Only one. The other two are in nursing homes in Canada, and the Canadian government refuses to allow any U.S. people, including myself, to talk to them because they are afraid of kidnap. Probably the reason I got shot to pieces and 11 attempts on my life is I am a direct threat to the entire system. The New World Order, the alien agenda is one and the same. It's world takeover and the decimation of the population of this planet. Now, I'm going to tell you something a little bit different about the alien species. The bad news ones, there are 9 races of alien populations. To look at a human being as a bag of food. They're not cannibals. They don't eat the flesh and the bones and all that kind of stuff. They use the glandular secretions of animals and human beings as a mixture of the vitamins for their food. They get high off of our adrenal gland substances called adrenal chrome. It's something like cocaine to them. Now, what can we do about it? Right now, if we do nothing, we can do nothing about it, and it will continue to go on. Basically, we'll be led in the dark, and you'll keep seeing more and more people disappear. Right now, there's 100,000 children totally unaccountable through FBI archives, cannot be traced anywhere. They haven't been murdered. Nobody's ever seen them. I think they're hauled underneath in some of these bases, and they are summarily done away with, and they are literally eaten. Now, that is a scary thing indeed. And I'm not asking you to believe me in toto. I am asking you to seriously do enough homework that you can go out in through the public record, through the congressional records, find out who's voting for what, and go from there.
You can go the route of the portals, right? You say portals and people think that you're crazy, but the Native Americans believe them. Every single tribe talks about portals opening up to the other side, especially down here in this part of Arizona. Most natives up north will tell you about their star brothers and their star sisters. They're not shy. You won't find a native tribe that doesn't believe in aliens, that we were actually seeded here. Most of my native friends will tell you that we were seeded from another race. But down here, there's portals. You guys heard of Mount Graham? Up there? Mount Graham. On top of Mount Graham in southern Arizona outside of Tucson is the largest observatory in the state. You know who owns that? The Vatican. And there's a lens up there called the Lucifer lens. Can't make this up. L-U-C-I-F-E-R. And it stands for like a long range, infrared, extra whatever. They had to make it fit. But it is, yeah. That mountain range was sacred. That Mount Graham was sacred to the Apache. And when they went in there, in conjunction, the Vatican with U of A down there to put this in, they actually went to court because the Apache said, no, you're not going to be up there doing this. You know, this is one of our sacred mountains. The Vatican put resources and money and battled them in court for years, and they won. I mean, if you go up against the Vatican, you're probably going to lose, right? They got pretty good lawyers, I'm guessing. And they definitely lost, and they built that up there. The Apache say it's because it is a center for power. And they wanted that location for that astronomy, whatever the Vatican is into up here. You have Yellowstone, Yosemite, all these places where paranormal activity happens, right? I don't know if you've been following that guy on the internet talking about missing people, 411, national parks. And if you are a government and you are controlling a phenomenon, what better way than to put it under the jurisdiction of the government? This became a state wilderness. Arizona has wildernesses, okay? We have state monuments and state parks, national monuments and national parks, and we have wildernesses. And these are really special areas. I think we got like 60 of them here. Only a man or a woman can go into a wilderness on foot with a horse. No motorized vehicles, can't even hang glide over them. The only time you can put a chopper in there is for a medical evac. So they are completely primitive. Even when the Forest Service comes in to do work on the trails, it's all saw and axes. They're not even allowed to use any electric or motorized stuff at all. So they are protecting these areas, and these areas do have a lot of paranormal activity. When I used to work over on the Yavapai Indian Reservation, just to the west of Phoenix, outside of Fountain Hills, one of their medicine men was, I would say a friend, but he was an acquaintance of mine. And I asked him, I said, why do you think that these areas out here on your res, he was telling me that they don't go out at nighttime because of the things that walk around at night, because of the little people, because of the invisible hairy people. He had all kinds of stories he used to tell me, right, straight from his mouth. And he says, well, as someone who studies this and thinks about it for my people, I think it has to do with electrical fields. There was a lot of power in Phoenix back in the day, because Phoenix is a very ancient, powerful place. But as people grow and the electric lines come in and you guys industrialize it, those electrical fields, I think, push away these spirits and these entities from the other side. When you go out into the wilderness still, people decompress out there because you don't have those energies. You don't have the electric, the Wi-Fi. And he says, I think it has to do with that, why things can come over from the other side there. He says that's how he explains a lot of the paranormal stuff. And you guys are paranormal, and it would stand to reason that we know it is an electrical phenomenon. We know the computer was invented to reach the other side. Did you guys know that?
No.
Research the origin of the computer and the guy that did it. He invented the computer to talk to the other side.